Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Mathew Mysholowsky. I appreciate you guys joining me today. By all means, please hit subscribe on the channel and follow me for more Liverpool news, rumors, and just general talk. I got a pretty light day today as far as news and rumors go, but there has been some things I've seen online that I would like to cover pertaining to mostly Mohamed Salah. I'm going to start with this. When you call someone the king, it's a phrase that I don't think many people take lightly. There's only two people I know of that call themselves kings in sports or have been called kings. Mohamed Salah and Henrik Lundqvist, former New York Rangers goalie. And even despite not having the titles that Mo Salah has, Henrik had a legendary career in his own right, and I think deserves that term, or the nickname of king. Salah, on the other hand, he is the king no matter what, in my opinion, especially in the history of this team. Unfortunately, as I've talked about, he's had some struggles, and those struggles led to a benching against Frankfurt yesterday in the Champions League game. A benching that some people, Liverpool legends, actually very much support. And that one gentleman who I'm naming is Jamie Carragher, who says he openly supports it. This is a quote directly from him, from Liverpool.com. When Mo Salah isn't being legendary Mo Salah, he gets treated like one of the other players, which is right. He's 33 years of age, and Liverpool will have 3 games in 6 days. So the article goes on to discuss, why Carragher feels this way, and it begs the question for me as a Mo Salah fanatic, a hardcore Egyptian King supporter. One of the major reasons I support this team in the first place, because I just enjoy the work Mo Salah has. But the fact is he hasn't had that quality that we're so used to seeing this year. And a lot of people kind of relate that to the passing of Diogo Jota, which is still a loss that weighs heavy on fans' hearts, including mine, because he was also one of my favorite players. So I feel like there might be some mental lapses in judgment and an emotional strain for him. Trust me, I'm sure everybody can attest to this. When you lose somebody you care about very much, it can motivate you or destroy you or take you to places you never thought was even possible. It's sometimes for the best, and sometimes, and most of the time, from my experience, the very worst. I don't know. I think the Jota death might be taking him a little bit harder than we all thought it would. When you play with someone for as long as they had, it's not just teammates you make. It's friends, it's brothers, and that's a bond that can't be broken very easily. Not even death can break something like that. So I think Mo is taking this very hard, and I think that's some of the reason why he hasn't had the quality. And this is not me making excuses for him. I think I'd be wrong to even consider that an excuse. But it could be the reality of the situation, and begs the question of what his future is going to be like with Liverpool as we move on. And it's the social media that has got everybody raising questions today specifically. That's because apparently he has removed some headers or photos or something along the lines involving Liverpool on his Twitter or X account. It's still Twitter, guys. So everybody on my feeds have been up in arms about it, hoping that he's okay, first and foremost. But there's also been a lot of accounts that I follow and like to think that they're pretty decent accounts to follow in the Liverpool space, that are being like, oh, I hope, we support him, we love him, We hope he's okay. He means a lot to this club, which he does. There's no denying that. But these are also the same people that just a few days ago absolutely shit on him for his performance against United and his previous performances before that. I mean, I'm not going to lie. As a Mo Salah fan, it's been rough to see him how he's been, you know. I think he's being a little bit selfish with the ball, and as far as chances go and creating scoring chances, I think the game plan being more or less, as I think I might have mentioned this previously, centered around him, where it's just like, okay, let's kick the ball to Mo and see what happens, only for him to be double, triple teamed, practically bullied most of the time, but the ref will never call it. You know, it leads to a lot of mistakes, and it leads to a lot of not to the standard that we expect from him. And they were calling this out very hard during the United game. And it bothers me because, you know, the same people that were being very critical, and I would say a little bit disrespectful at times, depending on what accounts you follow, are now all of a sudden playing the, I don't want to say the victim card, but they're playing the nice guy on Twitter card, where it's, oh, we support them, we love them, they mean so much to us. Meanwhile, just a few days ago, you were ripping him a new asshole. And I don't like that. I think sometimes that comes off as very fake in the fandom. I think it's one thing to criticize a player. I think it's another thing to pretty much constantly shit on their entire well-being just because they play poorly. And I've been guilty of that at times, but I'm also self-aware enough to know how it affects somebody. That's why if I have anger, I keep it to myself, and I'm just like, you know what? It's going to be okay. Let's just get through this. That's why I didn't really partake too much when Trent Alexander-Arnold was announced that he was leaving, and the way he did it, I 100% believe was wrong. But I think a lot of people went a little bit too far online, and people don't think that players of any sport, mind you, read social media. They do. Trust me, I know a few people that are in hot water with a few, whether they be actual professionals or, you know, people in wrestling. That's a story for a different time, let me tell you. But I think it's hard to watch for sure, and I don't know what's going on in Mo's head. Unfortunately, I think people are reading into this a little bit too much. I think when somebody does something on social media like, oh, untag somebody or remove photos or remove a heading or whatever the fuck, it becomes news, which is weird to me. I don't find it news. I may be online a lot, but I'm not that chronically online to be like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. He removed something from his header, a picture or something. I'm like, it's over for us, guys. He's leaving. I'm not. I may be a pessimist, but I am not that bad where it's like, that's delusion at that point, if you ask me. So my thoughts do go out to Mo, man. I think he's having a hard time mentally. I don't know about physically, but mentally I'm sure he's having a rough time. Emotionally, you know, between Jota not playing up to par, criticized by the media and, you know, fans online, I'm sure at some point that's going to be a breaking point. And maybe this benching that I spoke about will be something that's good for him in the sense where he'll be getting his head back on and getting him back into the game because, you know, we still have a title to defend. Arsenal's ahead of us. We can't let that happen. Speaking of which, we have a game coming up, and that is Brentford away on Saturday. And I will be discussing the game as soon as it's over. So keep an eye out for the channel on that. I might even live stream the game or my reaction to the game. So maybe you guys can check that out. I'll try and get my boys at FanArc to maybe leave a link down below for you to check me out in that regard. Nonetheless, Brentford, you know, we've had struggles against them recent years. You know, we've had rough games. Not everything has been a cakewalk. I did mention previously that this might be an easier game for us, but lo and behold, if when I open my mouth, things happen, bad things happen. And I'm going to say this, no game is necessarily a cakewalk in the Premier League. The absolute worst of the worst dog shit dregs that are going to be in relegation could beat a top team like City, Liverpool, Arsenal on an absolute insane, wave of circumstances. Granted, that's a miracle I'm talking about here, but I do think it's going to be a rough game. We still have some kinks that we're trying to work out. I don't really know what the lineup is going to look like, but this is the route I would take to start. Obviously, Allison is injured, so he can't be in net. And what I will say is the defense is a little bit easier for me to figure out than the midfield as well as the forwards. Obviously, center has to be Van Dijk and Konate. I think that's kind of a given. Kirk has got to stay on the bench. That man cannot walk on right now. He's having a rough season. He's not playing up to par what we pay him for. Connor Bradley had a good outing. He's had a rough season, but I think that outing against Frankfurt might be helpful for him, and I think a team like Brentford might be good for him to get more chops in. And Andy Robertson. I've said my piece about Andy Robertson in the last video, but, he's all we really got right now. I mean, maybe we can throw Joe Gomez in as a sub, but my thing is Andy Robertson is probably going to have to be in that back four. As far as the midfield, Szoboszlai, easy. That's a dead given, if you ask me. Wirtz has to go in without a shadow of doubt, especially after his previous performance in the Champions League. We are also going to have to go, I can't believe I'm saying this, Curtis Jones. I'm not the biggest Curtis Jones fan right now. I think every time I see him with the ball, it's like watching a baby deer trying to walk. It's like him trying to figure out what to do next because he's in a new environment and he's going to get eaten by a predator. A lot of the times that happens. But, yeah, I think Curtis Jones has to go in there, and I think that's going to be our mid three for sure. Forwards. Salah, I think everything I just said about Salah is kind of negated at this point because I think he needs to start on Saturday against Brentford. I think Editike should start, without a shadow of a doubt. I was thinking Chiesa too. I think either or I'm completely okay with. Or we don't put Gakpo in and we put Chiesa in with Salah and Editike. There's options here, but there's very limited options, and that's because we have a lot of injuries that we are dealing with at the moment. Let me read you this list of injuries that we have, according to the Premier League website. Jeremy Frimpong, hamstring, went out early in the Frankfurt game. Isak has a groin injury. I think I made a mistake and said it was like a hamstring or a calf or something. It's the groin. That's official. Gravenberch. I didn't initially put Gravenberch on the starting, but I think he is close to being fit. From what I have seen from reports from Slot, I don't think he's been training a lot as far as like 2 times a week or whatnot, but according to Slot, he's up there. He's getting up there. And of course, Giovanni Leone, he's out for the season. So he's been out for the season, the poor guy. Stefan, I'm going to butcher this. No matter how many times I hear it, I'm going to butcher it. Boscetic? Hamstring injury. A big loss there for us as well. Jayden Danns. Now, Jayden Danns is a young guy. He's going to bounce back. I really liked him in the last few appearances I saw him in, especially in the Carabao Cup win against Chelsea a few years ago. And of course, Alisson's out too for God knows how long, and I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So basically, a lot of options I would have to start or even sub in are gone by default, and it bums me out. This game's going to be a very telling time for us because even though Brentford isn't I wouldn't even say they're a great team, they're a fine squad. Okay, they're capable of winning games. They're capable of beating us. Like I said, any given day, a team could beat another team, regardless of where they are on the table. But this is going to be a test, man. I think Slot has to kind of stay similar to his plan with Frankfurt, and I think if he does, we might be in for a good game. But like I said, we'll know, and I'll be able to tell you right after it happens. I can tell you that much. But I appreciate you guys checking out the channel today. It means a lot that you stop by, and by all means, tell me what you think down in the comments section below. I will try to respond as to the best of my ability, and of course, subscribe to the channel, follow FanArc and the other channels that support it. That and are affiliated with it. I'm sure they would love to hear, or they would love some of your support as well. Thank you guys so much, and as always, you will never walk alone.